Have you always wanted to have perfectly fitting watchmaking screwdrivers or want to avoid any slippage and damaging your watch parts? Well, this is your video on how to perfectly dress your watchmaking screwdrivers. Welcome back, watchbangers, to the Berlin Time channel, to the first video in the how-to series where I talk about how you do things. So we will be dealing with watchmaking screwdrivers here. So I have my little nice screwdriver set, which I'll be using, and we also have a model movement. This is just a Chinese pocket watch clone, which I'll just be using for a later step, which you'll see. Get ready and come along. What can you expect from this video? By watching this video, you will properly learn how to dress your watchmaking screwdriver blades and what you should look out for. This is achieved with two main chapters. One is the theoretical approach, where I go into what, when, why, and how we dress screwdriver blades. Then we'll visualize the symbiotic geometry of screwdriver blades and the screws they interact with to show the cause and effect of screwdriver dressings. Next, we go into the practical dressing part of this video, where I'll show a model example of a random screwdriver blade with all the movements and angles you need to properly dress and sharpen them. After that, I'll apply those movements on a real-life example with the aforementioned Chinese movement, where I have to adjust a screwdriver blade to fit into a certain screw. With that being said, let's jump right into the theory. Aside from tweezers, screwdrivers are the essential tool for watchmakers because they're used to connect and disconnect parts from each other. There are many different variations, for example, in the shape. A quick disclaimer, this video will only be covering the traditional V-shape, because there's also a T-shape, for example, which is a more modern invention, but those have a specialized jig to them, so you don't really have to take care of anything. You just have to put it in and do it. So this video will only be covering the V-shaped screwdriver blades. And in the materials, there's also different materials, of course. Traditionally, it's just steel, but there's also brass, wood, some kind of plastic, so there's a lot of stuff. So when do you dress watchmaking screwdrivers? Well, I personally dress them when I see that they're damaged. For example, I see that one corner is chipped, or I notice that the watchmaking screwdriver needs some adjustment in the size, or if I just find it a bit ugly. And why do we dress them? Well, firstly, we improve the handling when working on watches, which then reduces damages, of course, and you'll increase your watchmaking aura, of course. So those go up, those aura points. And what do you need? So obviously you need the screwdriver you want to sharpen. You need some kind of abrasive. I use a stone and some cleaning material to clean your workspace and the screwdriver afterwards. And there's also a grinding jig, which is optional, which I also use in the video. But technically you can also do this freehand. So to shine a light onto the more theoretical aspect of why and how and what the dressing should look like, we'll just go into the symbiotic geometry here, and you can witness me drawing a screwdriver head right there. It turned out pretty nicely. And so ideally, the screwdriver should look like this. So you have the green line is the screwdriver from the side. And as you can see, I'll use this red thing to show the friction points. So firstly, you have the connecting points on the side here. So these two corners is where the screwdriver should be lodged between. And as you can see, the screwdriver head is not touching the bottom of the screwdriver, of the slot, because if it would touch it, it could damage it, it could scratch it, so we do not want this. What you want is for the screwdriver to usually just lodge itself along the top of the screwdriver slot. And if you look at a side view, this is also a particularly well drawn image, I must say. This is for example, a screwdriver which is too small. You can see that the screwdriver head is just in the slot, and you can see that if you would turn it, it would scratch the bottom of the screwdriver slot. It would scratch the sides. It would scratch this side as well. It would also scratch the inner side of the screwdriver slot. So it would basically just damage the whole thing, and the corners, of course. So there is no controlled handling of the screwdriver head. It will just wreak havoc on the screwdriver. So in conclusion, the geometry on the right side is not only the best in the handling due to the lodging of the screwdriver blade on the top, but also in protecting the screw's appearance and condition. We can now come to the practical part of this video, which most of you are probably looking forward to. I have my grinding stone here, which I got off Boli. It has two sides, and I have my little grinding jig, which I definitely recommend everybody to get. It's super cheap. This one's from AliExpress, for example, and it's basically a pipe with a hole and a spring. on two rolls, so you can smoothly move it over a grinding stone, and you won't have to, you know, be careful with the angle you hold the screwdriver with. It's always defined. Now we will start by putting the screwdriver into this jig, and by getting out the grinding stone, because obviously we'll need to have access to it. And I'll be using the fine side for this because there's not going to be a lot of heavy duty work. Now I'll be showing you the practical dressing on this model example by sharpening this damaged tweezer, which is absolutely horrendous. I mean, it's completely chipped. There's burrs, there's scratches. It's not even. It's definitely not the best example of a screwdriver one should have, and I'll use this opportunity to show you how to do it properly. Now first, I start by putting this screwdriver into my holder jig. I always have a defined length where I insert it to. I think it's around the end. Yeah, the end of the smooth part before the grip. And here you need to make sure that the screwdriver is also in a 90-degree angle. So it shouldn't be, I mean, technically it can be as long as the rest is fine, but everything should be in a 90-degree angle to each other. That is the ideal way of positioning a screwdriver in this jig. And then you'll use this and you need to straighten out the blade so that the blade is lying flat on the on the surface, because if the blade is not flat on the surface, you will get a second surface, which I'll come to later. But you just make sure that the blade is flat. I'm just checking here. It looks okay. We'll just see later. And once you're sure that the blade is flat, then you can also check from the side, and always do it for every angle. And you have to, as I said, the screwdriver blade has to be parallel to the grinding surface. Now, and once that is done, you can just take your grinding stone, place the jig on it with the screwdriver, and press down gently on the top, and just go back and forth in a smooth motion to have that grinding effect on the screwdriver. And you just do this for a while until you're comfortable with, or you think that there's some change. And once you've reached that point, you can always take it off and check in between. And in my case, I did not have it in a perfect angle to the ground. And as you can see, there's on the face of the screwdriver blade, there is a second surface. So you can see that the light is not one smooth reflection, but there's a second angle. And that is something which should not happen ideally. Technically, you could correct this now, but I'll just power through it. And since I'll just turn this jig around, it'll make sure that the other side of the screwdriver also has the same angle, so it's not a problem. Now I'll always check in between just to make sure, and the final result should look something like this. There's one smooth reflection on the face of the screwdriver, and once you've achieved that, we can come to the sharpening of the tip of the screwdriver. Here, you'll have to watch out that the tip is in a 90-degree angle to the face of the grinding stone to achieve a perfect line finish, which I like to call it. And once you have the angle aligned, you just pull it over the surface. I like doing smaller movements because that reduces any angle distortion. Once you're done, it should look something like this with a straight parallel line on the tip of the screwdriver. You can keep it as parallel as possible. It is pretty difficult in my opinion, but that is the goal we are aiming for. And because all of this grinding on the metal has thrown up some burrs, as you can see on this picture, we will have to remove them because burrs are bad in watches. I mean, they can damage parts or scratch parts or end up in the escapement and just completely mess up your timing. And I use this little fine ruby stone to gently scrape every side which I ground. So the sides of the tips, then I also go the little edges, then I also work on the radiuses of the faces. And I mean, it's something I just recently started doing. I might be just overkill, to be honest. You could maybe just go over with a fingernail and just wash the screwdriver blade and you're good. But yeah, it's just a little ritual I like doing because it calms me down. But you can really see the reflection of the burr sometimes in this footage. I'm pretty surprised as well. Like I'm sitting here in front of the PC. I'm like, dang, those burrs are pretty big. Okay, and that is basically how you dress a screwdriver from 0 to 100. Let's come to a more realistic example where we adjust a screwdriver to fit a existing screw head. So as I said, we have the clone movement here, and I just took a new screwdriver head out of the package. And as you can see, the screwdriver will be too small for the ratchet wheel. Oh no, sorry, for the, I think this is the crown wheel, for the crown wheel screw. And you can see it's jumping around. There's a lot of room for wiggle. There's a lot of shake. And that is something which should not happen. You can even see that the screwdriver is scratching the bottom here, which is, as I said before, a big no-no. So what we'll do is we'll just grind the top of the screwdriver, for example, because that will lead to the screwdriver's head being thicker the more material is taken away. And the opposite will be the same. If we sharpen the screwdriver more, the tip will be thinner. Now we can see if that did anything. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. So there's definitely, oh damn, okay, this is a really nice fit. So you can see there is almost no wiggle room anymore. This might even still be a bit too much, but it's much better than what we had before. And there is no space on the bottom. I mean, there's a little air, a little gap between the tip of the screwdriver and the screwdriver slot, so that those two things are also not touching, which is very nice. And that's basically how you sharpen the screwdriver. So basically, if you want your screwdriver to fit a thicker slot, just shorten it. If you want it to be thinner, just sharpen it. A little picture of the result. It basically reflects the symbiotic geometry explanation I did at the start of the video. That is the end of the video, watchbangers. I hope I explained everything nicely. I hope you understood everything. If there's any question, comments, uncertainties, please don't hesitate to ask. If you have any criticism, please don't hesitate to criticize me. I try to be as critical of myself as possible. Yeah, I wish you guys best of luck in your watchmaking endeavors. I hope the video helped you, and I hope the video also helps your screws and saves some of them. If you guys want to see something special, just let me know. Oh, and if anybody has ever built one of those T-blade jig sharpeners at home, I would be very curious to see a build of it because they're super expensive. But with that being said, here's some fun facts, and I'll see you guys in the next video, watchbangers. Bye bye.